Okay, we're going to run through the clustering demo just to get a sense for how it works. You'll see that there's a progress bar here. So we're loading up just random job data for this region that we've got selected. So we've got the jobs here. I'm just going to select all of them. And you'll see when I do that on the map, it will show the position of all the job locations. And you can see that we'll cluster those as you zoom out. So 50 locations right now. As you zoom in, the unclustered pins are in that green color. Right now, there's no clustering of these. These are all treated the same. Then we can go into setting up our parameters for the cluster problem. In this scenario, I just set up, I've got 4 clusters that I want to define, 500 quantities per cluster with a minimum of 10. Other parameters, distance, duration, the overall objective function for the cluster optimization. Here you can set other regions that you want to create. We've got a whole list of them there. And that's just for creating the randomized data for the job. And then different routing profiles can be defined. We can either optionally use the depot locations for cluster definition. You can see the red pins here. Those are just random depot locations that are used as center locations for each of these clusters if we want to solve that problem. But you can turn this off. Let's just solve this as it is. We have our clusters defined here, and then we also have all the jobs that were not feasible for including in this solution, primarily because the max per cluster is quantity of 500. And you can see that 4 clusters we had, one of them hit 500, and then the other ones were pretty close to 500. We could go up on the number of clusters we're defining, reset here. So we've got 5 clusters, 800 quantity per cluster. It's going to resolve that. And now we've got no unassigned jobs. So you can go in here, click on individual clusters if you want to see what's what. So this one is cluster 1. If I go to say cluster 4, I'm showing both 1 and 4. This feature, hard constraint, right now I've got the hard constraint enabled, this max value of 800. So let's go back to the 500 per 4 clusters and let's turn off the hard constraint for the quantity in each cluster. So what we'll find now as we solve this, we won't end up with any unassigned jobs, even though we know it's constrained. And you can see here that we have pretty much every cluster violates that max per clusters. But the trade-off is we were able to organize and allocate every job that we had. If you change regions, so let's go to Chicago. So again, we've got the 4 clusters and in Chicago. Let's just solve for that. And there you go. That's all there is to it.